Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Why so many absentees? Should I wait for some time or they will be joining? Is the slide is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
We were talking about the Proctor test. Okay, so in Proctor test, so what we are finding is maximum dry density, okay, and the moisture content or the water content with which you can compact the soil to get the maximum dry density. That's the optimum moisture content. So from the Proctor test, you will get the optimum moisture content and the maximum dry density. So what you're achieving in the field, so you should, whenever you're compacting the soil, you should try to achieve this maximum dry density. Okay. So how to check whether in the field whether you have attained the density or not, or at what is the density in the field. For those, either you can use sand replacement method or core cutter method, and there are other sophisticated equipments nowadays where you can directly find the field density and the moisture content also. Okay. Uh, so the sand replacement method, hope it is everybody know that. So what are you finding? You are finding the field density in the field. Okay. So for finding the density, you should know what is the weight and the volume. So weight you can directly, if you are digging a hole like this and get the material of that you can find what is the weight of the soil. To get the correct volume only, you are using this standard sand, right? So you're filling this hole with standard sand for the purpose to get the volume of this sand, and you have already, you're finding what is this density of the sand. So density of the sand is known, and the weight is also known, weight with which it fills this. So from that weight and density of the sand is known, you can get the volume of the sand filled by this hole. Okay. So you'll get the weight and the volume. From this you can get the density. Okay, I'm not explaining in detail. Hope everybody know this. Else you just tell me. I don't mind in explaining. Okay, so in the field you have to do this sand replacement method. That's to find the, so after, if you're compacting say like 1 meter or say even the 5 meter embankment and all you have seen, it's not possible to compact this 5 meter at it. You can't dump the material for 5 meters. You can't compact at a time. It should be compacted in various layers. Okay, depending on the type of the soil you are using and the type of the machineries you have. See, if you have like static roller, you can compact only lesser thickness compared to the vibratory roller. Okay, so if you are compacting using vibratory roller, you can compact more thickness, that it's called lift thickness. The thickness with which you can compact, that's called lift thickness. You can compact with to a more height. Okay, depending on the type of the equipment, that again depends on what's the type of the soil you have. Then another method is to find the field density by this core cutter method. So if you are, so you have to draw this core, okay, into the soil, okay, and then take it out and find what is the soil filled inside this core cutter, and find the volume also. Okay. And again, you can't do this core cutter for all type of soil. Say if you have like very this cohesionless soil, then it won't just fit. If you're taking it, everything will fall down. Okay. In that case, it's not possible. So depending on the type of this, if it's especially if it is cozy only, you can just do it with this core cutter. So find the weight and the volume of the, this is standard volume. Okay, so you can find the core density in the field. Okay, so field density, and this relative compaction means this is a field dry density by laboratory maximum density. Laboratory maximum density, what you could attain is your gamma D, right? Maximum dry density that you are obtaining from the Proctor test. Okay, so that's your laboratory maximum density. So what you can attain in the field divided by the laboratory maximum density is called the relative compaction into 100. So every time either the specification, before laying the specific road, you have to check the specification either for rural roads or that's for the village road, or for like national highways that you have to refer MOT specification. Right. So in that one, it will be specified. So what is the level of compaction you're aiming? Is it 100% compaction, or like it can be 99, 97, etc. So that depends on what layer you are using, what's the type of the road, everything. Okay. So 97% means this value relative compaction field dry density, what is attained divided by the laboratory maximum density into 100 should be more than 97%. Next is, so there are other equipments for this moisture content measurement, like rapid moisture determination method. No, immediately in the field itself you can get either with the sand replacement or this core cutter. You have to take the core, then you have to bring back to the laboratory and find the moisture content using oven drying method. Other method to find rapidly or instantly, you can get the moisture determination, because weight and volume you can just to find out from the field itself. If you have the weight balance, then get the moisture content. From that you can get the dry density, like calcium carbide method, torsion balance moisture meters, and these are some rapid moisture determination in the field itself you can get. Okay, these are some images of those. And then apart from this, you should know what are, how to do the triaxial method, California bearing ratio test, dynamic or resilient modulus method or test. Then in situ methods means what you're doing in the field. Plate load test, this California bearing ratio method, either it can be conducted in the laboratory, the same test can be conducted in the field, but field setup is different. Okay, field is to set up, you may need to have a truck for loading and all. You need to, it should be fitted on the back of the truck and all. As if you are doing plate load test, you have the different setup for this California bearing ratio method in the field, but it can be conducted for the in the field also. Okay, then dynamic cone penetration test. This again, it's a way to cone penetration for see if your soil is very good. If you wanted to penetrate this cone or some other equipment or a needle, something, if you are just driving it, if you're giving one single blow, if your soil is weak, then it will just pass down. So what is the number of blows required for this 1 centimeter of penetration? Number of blows required, that depends on the strength of the soil. Okay, that's what you're finding in dynamic cone penetration test. But indirectly, this can be used for finding the California bearing ratios. Directly, it's not giving, but there are some correlations or empirical formulas are derived or developed. Even IRC has developed some empirical formulas which is relating to the CBR value of the soil and the dynamic cone penetration test, because the DCP can be conducted in the field itself. and it's not easy to do the CBR value test in the field compared to the laboratory test. Okay. So one of the important parameter or the test which you have to know for the road construction or pavement is California bearing ratio test. Okay, because as far as flexible pavement is considered, you require this parameter for finding the design. If your CBR value is less, more the thickness of the pavement required is more. If the CBR value of the soil is high, then the thickness to be provided above that layer is, or thickness of the pavement is less. So the CBR value is very much important. Okay. And this thing, so it's a standard plunger size is given 5 centimeter, and usually you will be doing like 4 days soaked CBR test. Soaked test means you are preparing the sample and you are just soaking it in water for 4 days to check for the unforeseen reason of saturated condition. Once say pavement, if it is subjected to or if it is in rainy no rainfall area, heavy rainfall area, then it will be subjected to rainfall and it will be saturated always. So to check this situation is the soil has to be, the CBR soil is soaked in water for 4 days. Okay, this apparatus, so it's what you're measuring is the resistance of material to penetrate a standard plunger under controlled density and moisture conditions. So this moisture condition, while you're compacting, either it can be with respect to the optimum moisture content, or else if you feel like your field moisture content is different, it can be with respect to that also. Okay, so whatever you're compacting, it should be in either with the optimum moisture content or with the moisture content what is in the field. Okay. So this apparatus is given, it's having a cylindrical mold, displacer disc, height of the sample is 127. It can be static or with dynamic, it is compaction. Okay. Static or with dynamic compaction, loading rate is 1.25 mm per minute. This when you're in the lab, it should be adjusted to this, right? And plunger diameter is 5 centimeter. So this apparatus, okay, you can see the CBR at a small disc there, okay, then displacer disc and other accessories you can see, right? This hammer you can see, then displacer disc means in the below that you have to keep it, and while testing you have to keep it, you will just upside down so that you are applying the load through the displacer disc. And the procedure, hope also you might have studied. I'll just brush up. So in this, it's you are measuring the penetration, okay, and the standard load at 2.5 and high is given. You might have seen this 1 second. This table, okay. What is the standard loads adopted for different penetrations for standard material with a CBR value 100%. Okay, for granular or for a granular material, here it's 100%. So for that, and depending on what is the standard load for that, for 2.5, we are concerned only with 2.5 and 5. So for 2.5, it's 1370 and 5, it's 2055. Okay, so soil sample, this I just wanted to highlight one thing. You have to place the annular weight of 2.5 kilogram. Can you just tell me what is the reason for placing this weight, or that's called actually surcharge weight? There. Yeah, you could see here annular weight is placed above the sample. What is the reason for that? Anyone?
Ma'am, so that the load will be uniform in the surface area, not like concentrated.
Okay, for uniform distribution of load, then any other? One more other thing is anybody is telling?
No, like while applying load, soil beyond it can displace, like it can come up, so to resist it.
That's okay. 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 Apart from this, there's one another reason, like this soil, this you're testing for subgrade soil, right? And for above that, you have your pavement layers. No, it's not as such you're not driving your vehicle over the subgrade. You have some layer or some weight over that. You have sub base, base course, then your bearing course above the layers to replicate that also. And there are some experiments conducted with the various loads of this surcharge weight also. These are some of the reasons for why you're providing this surcharge load. Okay. Other one I would like to, this test hope everybody knows. So you have to draw a curve between the, what is the load required for the various penetration. Okay, then graphs will be drawn and see this bottom graph again, it's a CBR test only, but you can see a concave part is here. For that you have to do the corrections. That's called the zero correction you have to do. You have to draw a line parallel to this curve, which this will touch the x-axis. Wherever it is touching, from there you have to set the zero. That's why it's called zero correction. Whenever you're doing it in lab, you will understand much. So from this, from the corrected, so the value instead of taking 2.5, if the correction is 0.5, you should take the value for 3 mm. Okay, you have to take the corrected 2.5 mm penetration and 5 mm penetration and then find the CBR value. That's a load carried by soil sample at defined penetration level to the load carried by standard crushed stone at same penetration. That standard value is 1370 and 20555. Okay. So application is, this is meant for soil and granular material. You can't test this for aggregate. You will get beyond 100 value. Okay. Then this test, CBR test, is used for the design of road, which I have already mentioned. So higher the CBR, lesser the thickness of the pavement. And this depends on what's the dry density and the moisture content. What's the density or with what moisture content you're compacting the soil. And placement of annular weights during testing is important. Initial concavity of the curve. Okay, if it is not set properly and all, you will get like this, which has to be corrected. And there can be variation in the test values also. More than this rural road specifications also. It's before testing. So what is the standard deviation allowed is also given. Okay, what's the plus or minus deviation allowed for the between the various tests is given. So this is the test setup. It's a standard plunger. You're applying the load here. Then this is your annular ring. Okay, or annular weight is here, and you can see the proving ring and the dial gauge also to know the, because you have to know the weight and also the penetration. Okay. And this is a 50 mm diameter piston, so standard specimen. So here the strength number and cannot be related fundamental. It's not, it actually it's not giving you the giving you directly the strength. What it is telling, it's comparing with some standard material, right? You compare to standard materials, what is the value of yours? So it's giving you a ratio. That's why it's called California bearing ratio. It's not giving you the correct directly the strength. It's just comparing with the standard material. And material, it should pass through 20 mm. Then surcharge weight is to simulate the field condition. Okay, there are experiments where you can conduct with like more or less the surcharge weights also. And soaking for 4 days is unrealistic, because thing is that sometimes it might be soaked, sometimes you can't expect the salt to be always saturated fully. So it's not sure why this 4 days is given also. It's questioned, but anyway, usually it is done as per the standard for 4 days to replicate this worst scenario of the saturated condition. And this CBR again, it depends on what's the density of the soil and the moisture content of subgrade soil, and design based on weakest subgrade soil is this encountered. If you have like very good and weak soil, so better to test with this weakest soil. Then other test which you can do it in the field is plate bearing test. Okay, this plate bearing test can be conducted in the field itself. Okay, in the site or wherever you are laying either your road or it is for the building also, you can do the this plate bearing test. This is a pictorial view, like now you have to give the load or reaction. Then again in this, how this load is taken and what is the penetration and this reaction deflection you are finding in this plate bearing test. Okay, seating load, everything I am not going in detail. So a graph is plotted with mean, a graph is plotted with the settlement and the load, okay, or the pressure. So what is required for this point one? It's not clear, I think, this graph. So what you're measuring is a graph is plotted with mean settlement versus the mean bearing pressure, and the pressure P corresponding to 1.25 mm is taken as the K value. Okay, so the unit, so it's pressure by displacement, that is kilogram per centimeter square per centimeter. That's why its unit is kilogram per centimeter square. Okay, this K is called modulus of subgrade reaction. K value is called modulus of subgrade reaction, which is the pressure divided by the standard deflection. That's 0.125 or 1.125 centimeter or 1.25 mm. So it's in kilogram per centimeter cube. So if you are the standard, when a plate of smaller diameter 30 centimeter if you are using, so it should be usually you are supposed to use 75 centimeter of centimeter plate diameter for testing. Okay, for this, if you have like smaller diameter plate, it can be used in the field, but it should be corrected for this diameter. Okay. Even these corrections, everything that's also given in the codal provisions. That's about the soil. So soil, I have thinking that everything is taught to you. I've just brushed up the soil. If you feel, if you want explanation of some test, you can very well ask. It will be done. Next important material is aggregate. Okay, so the desirable properties of aggregate, one is resistance to crushing or strength. Okay, it should resist the crushing load and test. For that you have to do the crushing test. Then resistance to abrasion or hardness. Abrasion. Okay, for that Los Angeles abrasion value test is to be conducted. Then resistance to impact or toughness. Resistance to impact when you're applying the load or just dropping the load from a height. That's the impact load, right? For that aggregate impact test. Then here shape is very important. Now either for flexible or rigid, shape is very important. One thing is with respect to the workability, other is this flexible pavement, which we have already mentioned. The load transfer is through grain to grain transfer through the point of contact. So how many point of contact is there? That depends on the shape of the aggregates. Okay. Whether it's too much flaky or elongated, depending on that only this point of contact and even the voids will be there. So the shape is very important, and for that you have to do the combined flakiness and elongation index test. Then resistance to weathering, for that soundness test, because your aggregate should be durable, right? Then good adhesion with bituminous material. stripping test. This means this bit aggregate you are mixing it with bitumen. Okay, so this bitumen, when you are mixing this aggregate with bitumen, this bitumen, it should not come out or strip off. That word is called strip off from the aggregate. It should stick to it with a very thin film. It should not come out from the aggregate. Say suppose what will happen is if it is this mixture of this aggregate and bitumen, if it is mixed with again with water. Sometimes if the water is having more affinity towards the aggregate than the bitumen, then what will happen? If you are mixing it with water, this bitumen will come out, then it will stick with water. Okay, so you should check for the adhesion properties. That test is called stripping. So bitumen, it should not strip off from the aggregate. It should adhere to the aggregate material properly. Then resistance to polishing action under traffic, because see you have laid the road and that every day and night the traffic is going on, right? So what will happen? This aggregates will keep on gets at a polishing, or it will get deteriorate or abrade. It will keep on polishing, but this it should resist that. Okay, what is the resistance to polishing? That test is called polished stone value. And this is apparatus what you have to use for aggregate impact test. Okay, so what you're finding in this is you're finding what's the resistance of the aggregate to fracture under repeated impact load. Okay, you can see the equipment here. This is having a cylindrical steel cup of 10.2 centimeter diameter and 5 centimeter length. Okay, this is the, you can remove this. This is, my mouse movement is visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So this is the cylindrical cup. Okay, this cylindrical cup is this. Then you have cylindrical measure also with 7.5 centimeter. This is what is kept here. So first you have to take your aggregate in this the cylindrical measure. Give compact for 3 layers, 25 blows, everything. Then only you have to transfer this to this cylindrical steel cup. Okay. Then you should have a tamping rod. You can see here tamping rod. Tamping rod is here. Then sieves 12.5. The material what you have to take is passing through 12.5 and retained in 10 mm sieve. Other sieve is required 2.36 is for after giving the load, it should be compacted with that. And impact test apparatus with metal hammer or weight, and the weight of this is 14 kg, 10 centimeter diameter with the height of the hole. No, this height of hole is 38 centimeter. That's a standard one. Okay. So high impact value, if you have good aggregate, you will get the impact value will be more, and you can see the nature of this low impact value aggregates also. Okay. So here cubical shaped non-weathered aggregates show higher resistance to impact, and for determining the suitability of porous aggregates, wet impact test is conducted. Okay. I'll explain this. I thought I have the procedure here. So what you have to do it, so you take the sample, aggregate sample which is passing through 12.5 and retained in 10 mm. Okay, which is passing through 12.5. So here you have to have this 12.5 mm sieve, then below that 10 mm sieve. So it should be passing through 12.5 and retained in 10 mm sieve. Then take the weight and fill this cylindrical measure, giving 3 layers. Okay, each layer you have to give 25 number of blows. Okay, procedure anyway I will just include in this slide. So you have to give 25 blows for each of these 3 layers with this tamping rod. After that, this material the aggregate should be transferred to the cylindrical steel cup. Thus you can see a handle here. Okay, you have to hold it with this, then give if you are lifting, this weight will drop here. So like that you have to give 15 number of blows. Okay, for this sample you have to give 15 number of blows. After giving 15 number of blows, take the sample and sieve using this 2.36 mm sieve. Okay, so what you're measuring this impact value is whatever, okay, whatever the, if you're sieving, something will be retained and something will be passed out. That retained percentage divided by the original aggregate what you have taken is represented as impact value. Okay, this 10, 20, those are retained, this passing by this whatever the value you have taken. So if at all a material or an aggregate to be used for the construction of the road, if your aggregate impact value, if the material passing through that sieve is very less, means it's only the crush, no, the impact value is very high. So especially strong, if you're for a strong aggregate, the impact value will be less than 10%. Only very less percentage will be passing through the sieves. It should be 10% for strong. It's 10 to 20 for suit. If it is suitable for road construction, at least it should be 20 to 30. And if it's more than 30, then it's weak for road construction if the value is more than 30%. And this is levied by each of the specifications. When construction part you will be learning this. So for MOR, as per the MOR specification, for the aggregate to be used for bituminous macadam, bituminous penit, all these are top layers, no, which you have to provide in the varying course. It should be that value should not be more than 30%. For dense bituminous macadam and STBC semi-dense bituminous concrete, its value should be less than 27%. Okay. And then for bituminous concrete, 24%. Then WBM and WMM or crusher waterbound macadam, wet mix macadam or crusher run macadam, it should be 30%. And as per rural road specification, if the material is to be used for sub-base course, should be less than 50%, for base course 40%, and for bituminous surface course 30%. Depending on the standard and where you are using, you should check the specifications. Next is specific gravity and water absorption test. These are indirect measure of the strength or quality of the aggregate. So stones having low specific gravity are weaker compared to the aggregates having higher specific gravity. Okay, so in water absorption, this will measure what's the porosity in the aggregate. And aggregates having higher water absorption are generally considered unsuitable for construction of the road. So for this, what you have to use? You need like digital balance oven, then wire basket, then container for filling water, etc. Tray and absorbent clothes. So this is a way you have to find the specific gravity. Either it can be with this, no, they have just tied it over here, or you can just use this wire mesh also. Okay, so wire mesh, you find the weight in air, then find the dip this aggregate you can keep inside this, then dip the entire wire with this wire mesh bucket inside the bucket and can be holded here, and then again find the weight. Okay, weight in air and weight in water, that will give you the specific gravity. Then, so how it is to be conducted, it's given water absorption. For that you have to soak in water for 24 hours and all, then find the weight. Okay, specific gravity is dry weight of aggregate by weight of equal volume of water. Okay, for that you have to find the weight of saturated aggregate in water and the weight of water equal to volume of aggregate. Okay, you might have said W1, W2. No, first you have to find the weight in water, then weight of the sample, then weight in water, weight in air, etc. Then limits of water absorption once. So as per the MORTH specification, if the bituminous macadam, and that's for the top layer, surface layer, top layer, it should be 2%, and for the above that, like seal coat and all you're providing, it should be still lesser, that's 1% only. And WBM, WMM, CRM, then granular subbase, everything, the water absorption is more than 2%, soundness test should be done. If in case, if the water absorption you find, if it's more than 2%, you have to check the durability or weathering properties. That's a soundness test should be conducted. For as per rural roads manual, for sub-base course it's 6%, base course 3%, and bituminous surfacing it's 2%. Okay, this aggregate crushing value test here in this, I'll include later. Crushing value in this, this measures the resistance to crushing. Okay, you are applying the compressive load. So what is the resistance of that under roller during construction? In the field, it will be, your aggregate will be subjected, or its construction itself, your these rollers are moved above that. It should have resistance for that. And weak aggregates adversely affect the pavement structure. This apparatus, what you have to use: steel cylinder, plunger, cylindrical measure, tamping rod, compression machine of minimum 50-ton capacity. Why it's minimum 50-ton capacities? You have to use at least a minimum of, at least a load of 40 ton should be used. Okay. So aggregate sample, again the same size, like passing through 12.5 as that of impact test, passing through 12.5 and retained on 10 mm you have to take. It should be dried in oven for 4 years such that moisture content is not there. An aggregate should be filled in 3 layers, giving each layer giving 25 number of blows. Okay, and then it should be kept under the compression testing machine. Apply the load at the rate of 4 tons per minute. Okay, 4 tons per minute for 10 minutes you have to apply it. So total load applied is 40 tons. This is important. Okay, apply the load at 4 tons per minute for a total of this for 10 minutes. And so the total weight, total weight of total 40 tons, it should be applied. And crushed aggregate, after that apply the load, then it should be sieved through this 2.36 mm sieve. So this value, this crushing and this impact also, it should be done through 2.36 mm. Whatever the passing weight divided by the original weight will give you the will just give you the crushing strength value. Okay, so that's about crushing test. The rest of the portions next. Any doubt?